Hey Wizard fam, this is Nikachu, Merfolk Master, and I might be playing Wizards in Pioneer, but there are certainly a lot of Merfolk here, therefore I am digging the Wizard deck in Pioneer. You want to see how Wizards can be played with Naban? We'll make 1,000,000 tokens with Master of Waves, bounce double the things with Harbinger, tap them down, lock them down. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Before we get into our deck tech, we're going to thank our sponsors, starting with themanabase.com. And you know what? I'm not the only one playing tribal decks. MTG Jeff loves tribal decks. He's playing with tribal spiders. Go check him out playing on MTG Arena on themanabase.com. Your home base for everything Magic the Gathering. And the MTG Mastermind, the coaching program to help take your game to the next level. Get feedback from much better players who play on the Players Tour. Make the top 8 of Grand Prix on the MTG Mastermind. So, I actually have a Pioneer event this Saturday, which is probably, I don't know, 1 or 2 days from now, from whenever you're seeing this video, and I need to be prepared, and I basically have all the cards for this, Wizards deck, ready. Ooh, I might not have Damping Sphere. Hopefully I have that. But anyway, I've been playtesting quite a bit. And so, I mean, I tried a lot with Leyline of Anticipation, and maybe it does work in the right build. It doesn't work in mine. I played a lot with Leyline of Anticipation. It's just like, it's either just a dead card, or like there's a lot of decks. Like, okay, well, for one thing, it hurts against Control. I don't really like it against Control, because it's just one less card in my deck. I don't think everything being played at flash speed is that valuable. Another thing is that I just rarely could get off that and like utilize that ley line with Nykthos. I just couldn't, and in the end, it was just more, in my opinion, it was more of a liability than anything. Because if you mulligan. If you like mulligan to 6 or especially to 5, now the lane line is dead. And certainly you could put it on the bottom of your library, but like then drawing it later was really bad. So having into your opening hand was bad, drawing it later was bad. I was not thrilled with Leyline of Anticipation. I also tried Cloudfin Raptor. Maybe I can find that card for you. Cloudfin Raptor. Now this had good things and bad things. Like we're gonna... Uh-oh. Here, let's just add it to the deck temporarily. There was some good, and there was some bad with Cloudfin Raptor. So first off, Cloudfin Raptor actually does give the deck like a real clock. I don't have to be in the... Like, the whole deck is built around patience and reactivity. Cloudfin Raptor actually puts the aggro into this deck and puts a very serious pressure on my opponent. The downside, or I want to say one other upside, is that it gets around Goblin Chain Whirler, because once it evolves once, it's out of range of dying to it, and that was very appealing. And even against mono black, it was nice that you can attack for a few turns, and then when it's a 2/3 or 3/4 creature, you can now put the Cloudfin Raptor on defense, so got in some damage, then can go play on defense against the mono black deck. And either, I mean, if they use a removal spell on it, okay, that's fine, not a big deal. I already got value out of the Cloudfin Raptor, but if they don't use a removal spell on it, and by the way, any removal spell will be at fair mana. Cloudfin Raptor only cost me 1 mana, so if they spend more than 1 mana trying to kill the Cloudfin Raptor, beautiful. I'm loving it. So, and it can be good on defense against them. So now the problems of Cloudfin Raptor is if you have multiples in your starting hand, it's pretty bad. Like turn 1 Cloudfin Raptor, turn 2 do nothing, play another Cloudfin Raptor, because there's just not enough 1-drops in the deck to like make it evolve immediately. I mean, if you go Cloudfin Raptor, Cloudfin Raptor into Siren Stormtamer, okay, that's fine, but that's a much rarer hand to have. Much more common is Cloudfin Raptor, and you've got a bunch of 2-drops or 3-drops, and turn 2 you do nothing but play a Cloudfin Raptor, and then by turn 3 you can attack for 2 in the air. Not nearly as appealing, and it's using up a lot of resources on these Cloudfin Raptors. And also drawing it later is not a deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker, but it's not great either. Like if you are empty-handed, you top deck Cloudfin Raptor, that does suck. But if you top deck Cloudfin Raptor with like any creature in hand, it's not too bad. Cloudfin Raptor into Tempest Gen, not too bad, and then whatever you top deck later is good. Another thing with Cloudfin Raptor in this deck is does get big. like pretty quick, like Siren Stormtamer, Merfolk Trickster, Thassa, Tempest, Jhin. It can get really big really quickly. But ultimately, I didn't like the high variance of it. Maybe I was playing with 4 instead of the Naban. Maybe playing with 2 is the correct number so that I can never flood out on it, and I in the beginning of the game, and I decrease the chance of top decking it later. Because if I draw in my opening hand, I ideally just want 1. So anyway, I'm sort of just going back to my Naban list because that's what I was most successful with. I tried Cloudfin Raptor, it didn't really work. It was okay. Maybe I could adjust the other numbers, but it was like okay, but not great. Tried Leyline of Anticipation, and it sucked, and it was just bad. In this build, it's bad. I understand other people have success with it. Their build is different than this one. Maybe that's the way to go, and I should try those lists. But I've had good success with this list with Naban, so I want to go back to that. Some things to talk about the metagame right now. The burn deck is quickly disappearing in favor of the mono red red deck wins deck. So the deck that like goes Kari Zev into Goblin Chain Whirler and eventually curves to the top with Glory Bringer, and they play some versions play Scrap Heap Scrounger and Heart of Kirin. But the point is there is a much bigger red deck out there, and it's pretty dangerous. It's pretty dangerous. I'm very scared. I still can't beat those damn red decks. It's very difficult because Stomp is a big deal and Wild Slash is a big deal. And those are their early turn plays. My early turn plays are only good on the early turns, like Siren Stormtamer, Tidebinder Mage, Harbinger. Oh, and by the way, that deck really undermines these cards because they may not even play anything on turn 2. Seriously, they may not play anything on turn 2. They might go turn 2 Mountain Pass and hold up Stomp, and their curve starts at 3, when they start playing Goblin Chain Whirler. So all my early plays are a little undermined by their deck, and their 1-drops, like Wild Slash Stomp, they're good on turns 5, 6, or 7. These are not that great on turns 5, 6, or 7. Siren Stormhammer not really that good. This not good. Tidebinder Mage might be okay if they don't have removal. These are situation dependent. Like they're fine later, but the point is my early turn plays, they need to be in play and get value early on. They're not so good. Top decking Naban is not a very good thing, for example. But I do believe that the value of Thassa has gone up as a result of those red deck wins decks, because playing Thassa on turn 3, it's invincible to their removal and Goblin Chain Whirler, and can become an enormous threat very, very quickly. I'm gonna try out a 4th Tempest Jhin, making my deck a little bit more top heavy than it already was, and just remove 1 Naban. Just try it out. Let's see what happens. This is good against those red deck wins decks. Gets out of range of Lightning Strike, Stomp, Wild Slash, Goblin Chain Whirler. So this might be one of the better cards in the matchup to face the red decks. So what am I changing in the sideboard? Well, okay, so I tried, I asked the internet for a lot of anti-red cards, and this is the one that performed the best. It was the only one that worked. Cerulean Drake, flying protection from red, sacrifice it, counter target spell that targets you. And frankly, that might have more application than I even realize. I look at this as an anti-red card. There might be more decks that target me than I think, and that I could just bring this in against them. So it's like a counter spell that for things that target me. I don't know what those decks would be right now, but when we figure that out, I can counter. I'm not going to bring it in against Blue-Eye Control, but I can counter a Settle the Wreckage with this, for example. So there's that. So Cerulean Drake, this ended up being one of the better cards. Really good on defense. Really good on defense. And, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I'm going to up my number of Mystical Dispute. I don't know if I'm going to bring this in against the red deck win decks. Probably not. But, because they're so high up on the top end, I might want more counter spells. And hey, 3 mana to counter Chain Whirler, or I think it's Talrand, that red thing that deals 2 more damage from every red source that deals damage, and also Glorybringer. That's not bad. But mostly this is just more fuel against Blue-Eye Control. I think Blue-Eye Control is adjusting to these sort of decks. They're just wising up. I used to be able to just untap, win with Gadwick, but now if I tap out with Gadwick, then they like they're just ready with more planeswalkers. They untap with like Teferi Time Reveler, then Big Teferi, and so it's a bit of a game now where I can't just reliably tap out with Gadwick. If I get them to tap out, I can't just tap out and draw full 7 cards, because then they like untap with a bunch of planeswalkers and they start drawing cards, and we get to some sort of parity situation. So it's I need more fuel against that in that matchup. So Mystical Dispute I think is good. And as usual, Brazen Borrower, Grafdigger's Cage just for the random dredge deck, and Damping Sphere did come in handy. I played against one Lotus Field deck, and it just beat him. Just stone beat him. They tried to tap their land for Lotus Field mana, it added colorless, and then they snap resigned. So it worked. So anyway, that's the deck tech. Let's move into our league. I won the die roll, I'll keep this. It's honestly not the most amazing hand, but if we're up against a land, sometimes when you're on the play, you're super excited to see this Tidebinder Mage, because if you're up against like an Elvish Mystic or Llanowar Elf deck, I mean, they're just sometimes just dead on the sight of Tidebinder Mage. A lot of people complaining on Twitter about these Llanowar Elvish Mystic decks, but I don't think that's the thing to worry about. I think the thing to worry about is the red deck win decks. So it looks like we're up against Rock, which is not that great, because if they like take my Gadwick from my hand, I'm not going to be happy about this. I think our opponent might be playing around a removal spell. It's hard to tell though, because okay, so they are they thought I was thinking like sorry, not removal. They're playing around a control deck. But it's always hard to tell if I go double island if they think I'm a control deck, because I'm Nikachu. Come on. I'm Nikachu. I'm not playing a control deck. Unless someone paid me $100 to do it. Naban. So here's the issue with Naban. If I play Naban right now, Liliana Last Hope are just going to smoke it. There's very real value, actually, just to play the Gadwick, and if my opponent plays anything, I go Naban into Tidebinder Mage and just curve out. And then every future... Like, this does look like an attrition-based matchup, but... if they start putting up blockers, usually I do this if I have multiple Gadwicks in my hand. I will, just throw one of them out for 3 mana, but you can't be too greedy with the Gadwick all the time. This feels like a situation where I should, but I just don't want to play out any of these other cards. And Naban, like I've said in the past, Naban actually works the best if you play it at 4 mana, because you go Naban into something else, and then you get like double the triggers. Although I don't have any real payoff for that right now. And like if I throw Naban out, my opponent knows that they have to kill this thing. Maybe that's not that bad of a thing though. Anyway, if I also go the Naban route, I likely can't attack with Naban because something's going to block it. Sure, that thing. Is this a Soulflayer deck? I do believe this could be a Soulflayer deck. That's scary. They just haven't told us yet that they're a Soulflayer deck. Well, anyway, if they're Soulflayer, I'm going to empty my hand and play as aggressively as possible. So there's a Soulflayer combo deck where they like discard as many cards. You see, like, yeah, this is definitely Soulflayer. And so if you don't know what Soulflayer is, it's like a creature that you double strike vision. It's a creature that you delve into play, and it will have the attributes of every single creature that you delved away. So I can't block. No. I think it'll have Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste. Oh, we have another Questing Beast. That's too bad, because I have this Tidebinder. I don't think they have that much removal, to be honest. So now we need to just top deck creatures, which would be fine. It would pay. It would make my Gadwick play on turn 3 pay off. That's a creature. So it doesn't look like they have Soulflayer, because I think they would have played it already. And I think we've won. Unless they can get Soulflayer and play with Lifelink. No, they've conceded. Okay, what to do? What to do here? Maybe counter spells. So one problem with like trying to deal with it after it's in play is that it can get hexproof. I mean, it could if Soulflayer doesn't always have hexproof because they don't always have the hexproof card to have in the graveyard. So sometimes they just have this big double strike lifelinker in play with flying, and you just bounce it to their hand, and that's good. So that might be a line. Soulflayer, unfortunately, is black. And it gains like those card type attributes: haste, double strike, first strike, lifelink, hexproof. Let's get the card view. So I'm interested in getting the Brazen Borrower. Maybe we'll get rid of Harbinger. It might only be good against Lotless Troll. If the Soulflayer is ever have Vigilance, or they have Questing Beast in play with Vigilance, then I'll never target it. I think Wizard's Retort is still going to be good, because I still want to counter that Soulflayer. Grafdigger's Cage doesn't matter, because they just delve the Soulflayer in play. With more experience, maybe this is good. Only because it's just a... maybe not. They still delve, and they can have a lot of mana, so it's not a big deal. Okay, we'll just submit this. Sneaky! I thought they were a rock. They're Soulflayer. That can be dangerous. That can be dangerous, I'm not gonna lie. I've been put under heavy pressure against this deck before. Oh, this hand looks fine. Especially if we can get a Master of Waves in play and it doesn't die. Gather the Pact. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them into your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. And a Spell Mastery. If there are 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, put up to 2 creature cards from among the reveal cards into your hand instead of 1. Okay, so they found... I think they put all 5 in the graveyard. It says... put up to 2 creatures. Yeah, so they decided to keep none in their hand. They decided to put none in their hand, so Soulflayer on their way. Is there anything I can... Death Touch, Indestructible. That's it. So no creatures. I think I'll run out in a ban. I'm not that concerned about Liliana the Veil anymore. And now we have Wizard's Retort up, not bad. But I do want mana. That's not mana. I won't play the Siren Storm Tamer because I would rather just play a Merfolk Trickster instead. Sure. Questing Beast, Lotless Troll. All the good stuff. Grizzly Salvage, Lotless Troll, Questing Beast, and Overgrown Tomb. So they kept the Swamp. If they were to hard cast a Questing Beast, I'll just let it resolve. Death Touch, can't attack or block unless you control another creature with power 4 or greater. Sure. It's not the big daddy, so we just need to make sure that... and also we can tap this down with Highburner Mage. Well, this is not bad. This could be worse. But, I mean, ideally, we need to draw more. We need to draw lands. We are now in counterspell mode. So I think they played their swamp. Are you ready for the Soulflayer? Land. That's not really the land I'm looking for. Can I do anything with that? Not really. I can play what's it called? I can play Wizard's Retort without having to need the mana. Swift End. Oh, that really sucks. Okay, I'm gonna let it happen. And I'll counter the other side. Because that will prevent Ronus from attacking. And I hope that they just don't have any more mana. That's not good. Because now they can play this, and they can also play Soulflayer afterwards. Well, I'm running out of I'm running out of opportunities here. I'm gonna have to counter it. Okay, no Soulflayer. Wait, is that really okay? I'm pretty sure it's double black, and then you delve. Yeah, it is. Double black for generic. So, they don't have Soulflayer in hand. I'm not sure what they have, but it's not Soulflayer. Anyway, I'm just in counterspell mode right now. We're just gonna counter everything that they play. Because that's the only thing we can meaningfully do right now. What do they have in their hand? Nixos showing how much of a pain it is sometimes. Sure. What do you reveal? So you found your Soulflayer. So one of the Soulflayers went into their hand. And I'll discard probably a Gadwick. Not so big, are you, Ronus? You only feel big when you got a friend around. When you have a big friend around, mind you. Not so tough by yourself. Pathetic. You need your buddies to help you, Ronus? Is that what it is? Otherwise you can't attack or block? Of course, a lot of people are like that. Everyone's so much bigger in their group. I don't know if I mean, I've played a small handful of matches against Soulflayer. I've won some, I've lost some. It's tough. But also, this deck is tough if you don't curve out. Like, we started with 2 lands, and we drew 1 land in 7 turns. I mean, that's not ideal. So we're just... I mean, it's fine showing this. It makes it look like we couldn't cast it. To them, it may appear that we don't have any more counterspells anymore. I have to let Swift End resolve because there's nothing I can't let Soulflayer resolve. How did they lose life? Did they lose life somehow in this exchange? Oh, you lose 2 life. Somehow I've thought of this as you gain 2 life. Well, that's great. What is this gonna have? What did they exile? Death Touch, Indestructible, and Lifelink. What are the other ones here? I guess there was nothing else to take. Trample is an option. Well, we're gonna Wizards Retort this no matter what. I have no other good plan to beat this. Maybe Harbinger is better than I think, but the thing is there's hexproof creatures in this deck, so sometimes this thing's just on the battlefield. Oh, sorry, and there's also the problem that there's a lot of vigilance creatures in this deck. Like, it was going to give itself vigilance. God, you could be kidding me. Stop it. How big can it make the creature? +2/+0 and trample? That's not too bad. At least it sinks their entire turn. I'd be in good shape if I just had a blue mana. So here we go. Flying, indestructible, double strike, all the good stuff. Grizzly Salvage. Did they put all of it in the graveyard? I think they did. Alright, so here's the moment of truth. My opponent's so low in life. If I let this resolve, though, it could get them back in the game. But, like, the way I'm reading... Oh, is this what was revealed? Oh, puts Lotless Troll in their hand. So they have a Lotless Troll. Lotless Troll is not a big deal. Okay, let's counter this thing. Frankly, I can't beat anything. Land, please. Okay. I have a land. Flying, double strike, vigilance, trample, indestructible. Not thrilled about it. Okay, pass. Trying to think, what else do I need here? Why does my opponent keep trying to do something on their second main phase? It's like they have no stop on their main phase. It's hard to keep track what the hell's in their hand. Cry the Canarium. Yes. Oh, so do they have like a bunch of sweeper cards? Is that what I've been playing around this entire time? Yes. I don't like that it's not showing me what it is. So it looks like it's going to have lifelink, flying, double strike, vigilance, trample, indestructible. Maybe haste. Anyway, I can't do anything about it. Death touch, double strike, flying, haste, indestructible, lifelink, trample, vigilance. Okay, so a lot of bad stuff. What do I want? I want mana. I really want mana. I want mana really badly. Okay, let's pass. I need mana that's not Nykthos, to be honest. Well, Nykthos might not be too bad here, but it's not great. Also, there's an argument to just do something else. I don't know, play Tempest Gen or something this turn, just take a big hit. Well, this is double strike, so I could die. I might have screwed this up. I should actually just tap this pre-combat. Because I'm going to take, what, 11 here? Then again, I might have taken 11 anyway. Because if I tap down Soulflayer, they'll attack with Lotless Troll and just pump everything up. Okay. And I'm dead. I'm dead. What do I blame? Not curving out. It's usually like the #1 reason that I lose with this deck. I just can't curve out. If I could just get to, I don't know, even to 3 blue mana sources earlier, that would have been a world of difference. I think I could keep everything the same. Maybe there's a reason to get rid of Master of Waves because it's really clunky. And this is sort of a combo matchup. And we bring in some Harbinger of the Tides. What else could I consider a combo? And like, for this thing to die to Cry the Canarium would be pretty terrible. You know what? Tapping things with Trickster, bouncing them with Harbinger, that's pretty good value still. Okay, we'll submit this. I'd love to go first. That sounds fine. I can keep it. Again, like Brazen Borrower bouncing the Soulflayer is pretty good if it doesn't have hexproof. I haven't seen any hexproof creatures being put in the graveyard. Maybe they're just too clunky for this deck. I don't know what the final form of this archetype looks like. I swear our opponent has no stop on their first main phase. They're doing everything on their second main phase. Maybe there's a strategy behind that. I don't know. Thought he was going to take something. Takes our Tidebinder Mage. Interesting choice. The Harbinger is very good. So now if they play like Lot the Troll, I can at least tap and bounce it back to their hand. If they do nothing, I'm just going to play this Trickster anyway. Sure. Questing Beast. They put everything in their graveyard, including the Questing Beast. So ideally, I do want to draw my... I do want to start hitting my land drops. Just throw Gadwick out there. I do not. That really sucks. Now, given my position, I am just going to play a Harbinger. Like, if they throw a Soulflare out here, with just Vigilance, Death Touch, H. I really don't care. We'll bounce it with Brazen Borrower. But I need to have, like, some pressure on the battlefield. They play Cry the Cranarium, that's fine. Or, I don't like that. I'm not super thrilled, but I just have to put some pressure on the battlefield. They at least spent their turn trying to get rid of everything, so now we're going to put Gadwick on the battlefield. Invincible to this stupid shit. And again, like, even though we're tapped out, it's okay. Our opponent cannot do anything insane with a Soulflayer. I mean, it's possible. Like, they could go... Okay, so they're going to Thoughtseize us. It's possible they go something like... Grizzly Salvage, put a bunch of really big creatures in the battle into the graveyard, grab a land, play a 4th land, drop Soulflayer, but we still have the Brazen Borrower as a backup. And there's a Grizzly Salvage. So they're going to look for Hexproof, I'm guessing. Or they're hoping to reveal Hexproof. There's so much garbage here. Put Soulflayer into their hand, Blooming Marsh, Nullhide, Ferox. What is this thing? Well, that's a problem. Hexproof, you can't cast non-creature spells. And they know what we're working with. So they're going to have Vigilance, Hexproof, Death Touch, Haste. But it's only a 4/4 creature, so it could be a lot worse. It could have a lifelink too. That would have been a hell lot worse too. But alright, whatever. The clock is on. Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Vigilance. I'm just going to play my Brazen Borrower as a creature, so that because it looks like our plan needs to be to go wide. Ooh, problem is they know my hand, so if I attack with these two things, they just block the Borrower. Suddenly, I want my Master of Waves back. Master of Waves would just win this thing on the spot. Well, okay, we have a few turns to do something. I'm a bit concerned to play Naban here, though, because there's, like, no value in it. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to attack with a Gadwick. Because I have another Gadwick in hand. So I'm going to play Gadwick for 1 here. So I risk nothing just trying to attack with this thing. That's not bad. But I need a... I mean, if they play Questing Beast here, that wouldn't be too bad. I could suck up their Questing Beast turn. I can also chump block with Brazen Borrower if necessary. Not gonna lie though, we're in a bit of a pickle here. We need to find like Thassa. Thassa would be pretty good here. Just get through this crap. Another Cry the Canarium. Okay. They're gonna gain a little bit of life. Seems like Gadwick is a pretty good creature in this matchup. We attack for 4. Now we have no way of blocking it. These are great cards, but not for this situation. Alright, so let's just empty our hand. You know what? I think I'm going to play the Tidebinder Mage because I have the option of playing Harbinger at flash speed. So my opponent has perfect information. But whatever, I can't do anything about that. And then we have to start like just attacking with everything. I can get in for 4 damage. We have to hope that we top deck well. Four, Death Touch, Haste. Oh, our opponent's on defense now. What? Well, they had to have attacked. They had to have missed their attack step. Out of a blunder. It has to have been what happened. Because they have Vigilance. Okay, so that's lucky. You know what I would have liked? Another land so I could activate Castle Ventress. That would have been sweet. Why can't this thing tap lands? That would be beautiful. Get hit for 4. Attack for 6. Okay, I think I'm just going to pass. And then whatever my opponent... If my opponent plays a creature, then we can Harbinger tap it, bounce it to their hand, and get in a good attack. But everything from here might be just all luck. Because our opponent opted not to attack with their Soulflayer. Oh, that really sucks. Because now if they even play Murderous Riders, there's like nothing... I mean, I can play a Harbinger at flash speed, but it doesn't do anything. Still not attacking with their Soulflayer. Okay, so now I'm convinced our opponent's a pony. And now bouncing Murderous Rider is no good either. Come on, Thassa. Okay, you ask and you shall receive. Perfect. This will threaten victory very quickly. Still can't attack. I wonder, does our opponent not realize that Harbinger... Maybe they think Harbinger bounces attacking creatures and not tapped creatures. Maybe that's the issue. Like, I'm not playing Harbinger on my turn. Maybe it's because I'm trying to get them. Because it doesn't have... Oh, no, but it has hexproof. Like, what? This thing should be afraid of nothing. I should be dead right now. So if I win, I mean, this is not a fair win. It's not a fair victory. I can still die to a lot of things. I can die to a second Soulflayer that, like, exiles this other... Oh, there aren't any more things in the graveyard? Of all the things to kill, you kill this thing. If you kill one of these, I lose hexproof. Sorry, I lose devotion. They keep looking in my hand for some reason. So I'm getting really lucky out here. This is all luck. This is all pure luck. Double blue spells. I don't need this anymore. I wanted that a long time ago. Oh, what will wipe me out right now? Cry the Canarium? So I could attack with Thassa without making her unblockable. My opponent will go to 11. if they block with Murderous Rider. But that might be a good thing, because eventually these things are going to have to start chump blocking. What's in the graveyard that I could be afraid of? Death Touch, Indestructible. Another Death Touch, Indestructible. Trample's a problem. Is there any haste? There's no haste creatures in the graveyard, so they can't just, like, Soulflayer haste me. We're living on borrowed time, though. Okay, so... borrowed time. Six. Attack me for 6. I gotta be careful. If they hit their 4th land and Questing Beast me, do they have a Questing Beast in hand? Like, did they grab one earlier? I don't know the exact contents of their hand. So I could attack for just 4, put them to 5, force them to attack. That's a line. I could attack for 4, they go down to 5, they kill one of these things, the attack go to 7, I play a creature, but I can't make both of them unblockable. It's tough, it's tough. Like, this is just tough. If they play Questing Beast, I guess I can just chump block the Murderous Rider, though, with one of these. Okay, I don't know what's the best thing to do. So I'm going to attack with a Thassa. I don't know what the right thing to do is. It's a hard spot. It's a tough spot. Go down to 4, go up to 6, but I still attack for 7 if you tap out with Questing Beast. Okay, that's fine with me. And we'll make this unblockable. Just run out this Harbinger of the Tides. And hopefully they don't nail me with Cry of the Canarium. Is that like instant speed? Sorcery. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. Exile creature cards in all graveyards that were put there from the battlefield this turn. And our opponent conceded. Alright. So, we did not win this game with skill. But sometimes, like, this does happen. You know, even at a Grand Prix level, you're going to be up against players that don't fully understand how their deck works or what the creatures do. And you have to make the best of it. And we did. So anyway, that was... I don't know what the real matchup is like. We certainly have a lot of very situational enablers. But in my opinion, if I can just curve out to 4 lands, I'm going to be thrilled. But anyway, that was round 1. Let's move on to round 2. We lost the die roll, but our hand is garbage anyway, so that's a good thing that we lost the die roll. More cards for us. So we'll keep this. And I think I'll dump one of the Nabans. Hopefully we're going to keep our lands, hoping to draw one of our higher payoff spells. We're up against mono black, which I'd rather be on the play, but it's okay. The matchup is fine. Our opponent mulliganed as well, so that could be to our advantage. Like there's a lot of ways that we can stabilize and then just go over the top with a Master of Waves and force them to have a removal spell. But I think post board they've got like a pretty good chunk of removal, to be honest. And I think Naban works pretty well in this matchup as well. I could probably block that Dread Wanderer. So as is, I'm going to play the Tidebinder Mage on turn 2. And the reason I'm going to do that is I would ideally like to set up Naban for the later turns. You know, playing Naban on turn 2 sounds appealing, but really Naban works best when you can get it out on turn 4. I might play it on turn 3 because I can protect it with Siren Stormtamer. See, if I played Naban here, it would just die, and, you know, there goes my Naban. Not great. Scrap Heap Scrounger, not a big deal. So the idea is at some point we're going to turn the corner. See, this is great. We go like, if I play Naban, then I can go like Trickster, 2 creatures, Harbinger, and then sometimes that's enough to tempo out the opponent. But what am I going to do here? I think I'm going to save some life with this Trickster. Just tap down a Scrap Heap Scrounger, why not? They're gonna attack me no matter what, and the next turn I go Naban Harbinger, bounce the entire hand back to hand, and I'm gonna aim for bouncing things that cost the most mana. Okay, they're not attacking with Mutavault, which means that they have something really big to follow this attack up with. Maybe, what's it called? Kalitas. So I'm going to let them play their Kalitas. You gotta be kidding me. No! Oh well. Does that Swift End an instant? I think it's a sorcery, though. Oh, it's an instant, so... They have to have something. Did I Scrooge this up? Bounce. Like, my new plan is now play around Swift End for the rest of the game. But how do I do this? So now I really regret not playing this. We can still take a bit of damage going into the next turn. Or maybe my opponent is just trying to prepare for something with Mutavault. Like preparing to block. Cannot help but feel like I messed this up. Maybe to ban on turn 2 was better. Okay, well anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. It's in the past. How much damage can we take? 7, 8, 9. Oh, we don't die. This is not pleasant, though. Alright, so this is not what I intend on blocking with. Yeah, they have to have Swift. I knew it! I knew it! But that's sort of silly. Yeah, now I counter this thing. But now you get to attack for how much? 7, 9. I go to 2. It's pretty good. What if I go to 2? Let's go to 2. I like going to 2. Feels dangerous. That's a great card to draw. That is why we play with Naban. Alright, let's hope that our opponent doesn't rip exactly what they need. We have lethal on the way back. Certainly a lot of dead cards in their deck. They might have been a little greedy with the Swift End because I had the Siren Stormtamer on board, but maybe they just thought even if I countered it, it uses up my mana, and they just attack me. Like it looked like I was almost dead. It looked like I was almost dead. So cards that are good in this matchup. I don't know if Grafdigger's Cage is good. The idea of playing it and then trading off creatures doesn't seem the greatest to me, especially since they do play with Kalidas. I think the only thing I'm not in love with Wizard's Retort because this is of course an aggro matchup. No, I'm gonna keep one. One just to protect against like a Swift End or Kalidas is fine. Naban into Master of Waves. That's how it is done. It's what the Naban was earning its bread. Working for that daily bread. Maybe Brazen Borrower should be a 4 of in this sideboard somewhere. Not sure what to take out. Sure, I'll keep, but I mean, these are the sort of hands that if you don't draw that last island, you're really fucked. Harbinger is sort of a pleasant thing to see, so I can start slowing my opponent down. Okay. When you look to bounce things, you ideally want to be bouncing things that have a higher converted mana cost than 1, because that really tempos the opponent out, but I don't really have a good target here. Like, even if I play Tidebinder Mage, hope they play a 3-drop, Harbinger still can't bounce it next turn, so I might as well not. So here's where, like, we're going to be fine if we just draw 2 lands from here. Our opponent's not getting double black. There's a lot of spells that hurts them. Fatal Push, that's fine. Because that's not a Fatal Push that hits our Master of Waves. Okay, alright. So, we're going to start off with the Genie, a great stabilizer. Now, pending what they do, like, if they just attack with Gutter Bones, I'm just going to take the damage because they're representing Fatal Push. Gutter Bones can, of course, eventually get back onto the battlefield. They're also suffering from their own mana screw right now. Ultimate Price, alright. So now I'm still not in too bad of shape because no matter what happens, I can play something every single turn. We're just going to play this, preparing for a big Master of Waves the moment that we hit the land. But if we don't hit the land, this is still a good blocker, and it's also good at... it will set up a Merfolk Trickster that we can tap 2 things at once. So here come the Thoughtseize. And the fact our opponent is spending the black mana on things that are not creatures on the battlefield makes me very happy. There's a Genie... Can this thing block? Can. So for the price of a Mutable and a Gutter Bones, we could trade this Gadwick. Do you know what? Oh no, wait a minute. We can just play this. Tap the Gutter Bones and attack for 3. That's fine. That'll work. Let's not forget Gadwick's ability. It's good. Even for 3 mana, not drawing cards, we're seeing it in this league. This creature's just damn good. Alright, our opponents finally hit their second mana source. So things like... There's a card in their deck that's like 2 black, target creature gets -4/-4. That's pretty good in their deck. Alright, they hate the Master of Waves. It's the only way you can get our Master of Waves is to prevent us from even playing it. But we are in very good shape here. Very, very good shape. I think I'm just going to keep tapping things down. I mean, we have more power than they do, in my opinion. I'm going to attack for 6. Then I can attack for 9 the next turn if they want to go all out. And like, let's say they kill this and attack for 8, putting me to 4. I mean, I still have this Trickster that can slow the game down by a lot. Oh yeah, Grasp of Darkness, that's the card I was thinking about. But they're still way behind on the board. Like, they can't beat the Trickster at the moment, in my opinion. The Trickster is just going to tempo them out. They still can't really beat the board. So would I attack for 3 in the air? Probably. Then play a Thassa. Like, they don't have any Lord in their deck. This doesn't matter. And Thassa will make sure that I'll have lethal by next turn. Just play a double blue creature, attack, that'll be enough. Rankle, Master of Pranks. I don't think this matters. Target player discards a card, each player loses a life and draws a card, each player sacrifices a creature. I do not care. Sure. So they were stuck on lands. Like, did they... So they had this in their hand the entire time. I think they need to draw a card. Each player loses 1 life and draw a card. Because they're dead on board. Oh, but you can choose more than 1. Okay, so, sure, I'll discard... Gadwick. I guess I'll sacrifice Gadwick. If I just draw a land, I probably win. Oh no, wait a minute, don't I just win? No, I need a land right now. So what if I don't draw a land? Am I in trouble? Oh, they got rid of their Rankle. Very odd move. They could have got rid of their Gutter Bones, right? Well, anyway, it's pointless doing anything else. Just attack with this Genie. Island is enough to win. Island is enough to win, and they've conceded. I don't know what to say about this. Our opponent might have just... Certainly our opponent could play tighter at the end, but like I think they're just dead anyway. There's just nothing. They probably should just choose all 3 modes. Discard a card, loses life, draws a card. Each player sacrifices a creature. Hope to draw Fatal Push, Tempest Djinn. And then I'm like, hey, then it's still a game. It's still a game. All 3 modes could have been possible. But I think we have enough game against these decks. I know they're like really fast and aggro. Their best bet is to have hands where they've got like Grasp of Darkness, and I don't know. We have good stabilizers. Like these cards are good. Genie is good. Thassa is okay. It's good, and Master of Waves, of course, is just sometimes a card. If they don't have the removal spell for Master of Waves, they have a lot of removal spells. But if they don't have it, they're dead. They're just dead. Anyway, that's round 2. Let's move on to round 3. We lost the die roll, but hand is good. Assuming we can curve out from here. But even if we don't, like, you know, we have a 1-drop, we got 2 drops. We got Tidebinder Mage. Tidebinder Mage, I hope it's still valuable. Like, everyone's complaining about Elvish Mystic and Llanowar Elves, but honestly, I'm not really seeing those decks. I think they're getting wrecked by, like, Mono Black and Mono Red. And with that, oh no, okay, I thought we were gonna be seeing a little Elvish Mystic action. I was wrong. Tune with Ether instead. So Nykthos will either be great or useless, pending what's allowed to stick to the board. Nykthos is a high variance card. I like it. I mean, like, it's one of the main reasons I can compete against Devotion decks. But one problem is that the metagame is moving pretty removal heavy. Wood Weir's Puzzle Notes. It's just straight up Marvel. Gain 3 life, you gain 3 energy. I think this is just straight up Marvel. So how do I want to deal with this? They got mana dorks. So I think I'm gonna save my Tidebinder Mage. Next turn we can play Nykthos, play Naban. Maybe that will matter. There's a lot of cards coming from Aetherworks Marvel that targets us, so Siren Stormtamer is like a real beating against them. Whirler Virtuoso. Pay 3, put a 1/1 Thopter in play. Okay, that's fine. Well, I'm not happy about that, but I'm gonna live with it. We can Tidebind that thing down if necessary. The question is, do I do that now? Yeah, sure, let's do it now. It puts Devotion on the battlefield. Next turn, we can get... so we can tap this thing down. This is definitely just classic Marvel, so I have to pass because at will... Oh, wait a minute, I can attack here. Because they don't have this ability anymore. No, they do have the ability. This is not this is not Merfolk Trickster. I cannot... They can make as many Thopters as they want. Here's Marvel. So some of the things they hit, it's gonna be great. Some of the things they hit, it's gonna be total trash. Okay, so what are we gonna do here? We have 4 mana. Not enough. Let's just play a Genie and pass, I guess. At some point, we're going to play like Naban into Gadwick. So the fear here is that they're going to make me use up one of my Siren Stormtamers on, I don't know, an Emrakul or something like that. Oh, that's pretty terrible. I mean, I just... oh no, that's... Which one is this? Oh yeah, that's the bad one. It's the one where I'm going to lose all my permanents. It's the bad one. I think we can resign. Like, we're very close to this. We don't have Brazen Borrower in our deck to bounce the Ugin. Wizard's Retort is a bit late here. Let's spin again. There's Ulamog. So, like, the thing about Aetherworks Marvel, it's not really guaranteed what it does. So, like, let's say they hit the Ulamog instead of the Ugin. I would have just played my... I would have just cracked the Siren Stormtamer and then just tried to deal with the rest of this. Anyway, I think I can safely concede. I don't have anything in my hand going... I have nothing going on in my hand, and this Ugin can just win by itself. I need to save time and energy as a streamer. That being said, I think we are... I like this matchup. Brazen Bar is going to be worse than usual because they're playing with Whirler Virtuoso. The past versions did not do that. Grafdigger's Cage could be fine. I mean, it's good. I mean, it shuts down Marvel, but they probably play with a Braid. Mystical Dispute. I might just bring this in because it's a counter spell. All right, let's bring in a lot of stuff. Let's bring in Flash Speed is good. Let's bring in the Grafdigger's Cage. It is good, and I think we're just going to be less dependent on the Devotion strategy. How good is Master of Waves? Can't get hit by a Braid. Can get hit by Ulamog. I can keep Gadwick no matter what, because there's always going to be some situation where I want to draw a bunch of cards. I'm going to keep Siren Stormtamer because of how good it is. Okay, so this is a combo deck. Let's get rid of Master of Waves. Keep Thassa. This is good against... I can tap down a lot of their creatures. It's a rug deck. Get rid of maybe some Nabans? Does Naban combo with anything? Maybe not. We'll get rid of Naban. Maybe I'll get rid of one land. One Harbinger. We still have a lot of creatures. They're still pretty top heavy. But the thing is, things like Harbinger cannot, like, do it. Cannot really win the game. It's pretty top heavy for a control deck. To be playing against a combo deck, but yeah, it feels too top heavy. I gotta get rid of something. But I do like still the idea of just playing a Master of Waves, making a million tokens. I'm just thinking, is the right thing to do just to play a bunch of Grizzly Bears and attack, attack, attack? That could be it. That could be it. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try this. Naban still might be valuable with Gadwick. And, like, things I can do is just counter things like Whirler Virtuoso. I'll keep... I'm not in love with this hand, though, but I don't want to mulligan it. I like Thassa. Curving into Thassa is nice. Thassa will find the counter spells. You know where the counter spells are, Thassa. Show me the counter spells. So either Marvel was a deck that was like really hot when Pioneer just came out, but like just disappeared off the face of the map because it it just got crushed by everything. So I don't know what's keeping it in the game right now. Maybe they've adapted. Maybe they've got like a new list. They've discovered what's good, what's bad. Okay, so now do I want to have Thassa? Here's the thing: if I play Thassa right now, I can't attack with her ever by next turn. Whereas with the Genie, I can. Choose target creature. You get 3, and then deals damage. You may pay any amount. So if they have another Harness Lightning, you can kill the Genie anyway. The advantage to getting out Thassa first, you start scrying immediately. But the problem is you can't start attacking immediately. And in a control matchup, I want Thassa out first. But against creature and combo decks, I may not want to. I think maybe the right decision is to play the Genie out first and hope that they just can't kill it. At the moment, I can't beat a Marvel anyway. Okay, Harness Lightning, so now we're at risk of getting Marveled. Well, that's nice top deck. So that gives us some insurance against Marvel. Again, they can abrade it, but whatever. Got some insurance. This also might mean they won't. They might side out their Marvels and take a different strategy in Game 3. I don't know if that's something that they do, but you know, they've got enough control elements that they could take that. They could take that route. Rogue Refiner. Basically, their Tidebinder. Their Silver Gill Adept, but this is a pretty good Tidebinder Mage target. That's why I kept the Tidebinder Mages in. That and Whirler Virtuoso. That is nice. I like that. Okay, let's put this on top. Start drawing cards right now. Why not? All right then. Another Rogue Refiner. I don't know what they're looking for, but I think our situation is good. Sure, none of this crap matters. Like Thassa, Thassa plus something else is just gonna get unblockable over and over again until they die. That's a good attack. Yeah, we can put this on top. So how does this work? Yeah, double gray. Only spend this mana only to cast colorless spells. Activate this ability only if you control 7 or more lands. They have 5, so they can't get Ugin in play yet. So we will just cast this as a creature. Do I even need to make anything unblockable? My plan was to activate Nykthos. Make things unblockable. Maybe that's not even necessary, because now I could activate Nykthos, I don't know, bounce something, not sure what. And play Brazen Borrower at end of turn and attack for a lot. So I can get in for 3 damage here. The next turn I can get in for... What is it? I'm attacking for 8, and then 11, so that's not lethal. On the other hand, I could activate Nykthos, hardcast the other Brazen Borrower, that threatens lethal by next turn. Alright, that's a plan. Actually, I don't even need it. I just tap down the Servant of the whatever. Attack for 8, you block, take 3. Then I can have 5, 14 damage. It's not lethal. So my fear is like just anger the gods. Like that would be terrible. But my other fear is just land drop, Ugin. That's also terrible. I don't know what's more likely, but we're just going to go all in here. They might have more sweepers than Ugins. If they sweep the board, they're sweeping a ton of their stuff too, even though they got value out of it. Problem is, we don't have counterspells. I'd be more patient if I had counterspells. I don't have counterspells. Whirler Virtuoso, I don't care about that. Alright, so we win. Because we can just make everything unblockable. I don't know why we need this. So I'm just... Maybe a Wild Slash can beat us, but I don't even know if that's in their deck. So I'm not sure, but Grafdigger's Cage looked like it worked. I'm just gonna run this back. It's possible Siren Stormtamer on the draw is worse than Master of Waves. Not sure. Because I am very likely always tapping out when I have the Siren Stormtamer. All things considered, that went pretty well. And it looks like the idea of putting ourselves in a position to win the very next turn was a good idea. It was a tough choice, though. It could have went bad. But even if it went bad, we still had a Thassa on the board to start scrying. This hand sort of sucks, but I'll keep it. Brazen Borrower does not really... I mean, I like it because it has its flash speed, but... aside from that, this card is not what we're looking for. Do I keep this? Yeah, I'm going to keep it. I can play at flash speed, but I have no interaction is the problem. And bouncing things sort of sucks. Well, now that's what I'm talking about. If I'm allowed to play it. So I'm hoping to see a Rogue Refiner. That's fine too. Because now I'm in a situation where we Brazen Borrower or we either Wizard's Retort or Brazen Borrower. That's nice, so we have even more protection against crap. Ideally, I'm going to Mystical Dispute probably like a Rogue Refiner just so that they don't get any like serious card advantage. When there's a battlefield, you may search your library for a land card. Exile top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn without... I know this is like a really good standard card anyway. Hell no! We'll just do this. I can't play Borrower and Wizard's Retort at the same time, so I might as well just do this. Hey, could I have just bounced this? No, it has an Enter the Battlefield trigger. Let me search your library for a land card. Aetherworks Marvel, no. Okay, the attacking starts. And now, even if they get a Marvel on the board, again, Siren Stormtamer just sometimes beats it. Alright, we're gonna see what happens. Could petty theft this? That would buy me a turn, right? Force them to play use this thing right now. What to do? Okay, let's pay. I don't know what's right. The alternative is I just play Brazen Borrower. Just hardcast the thing. Maybe I just should, because I attack for 7 in the air and then just one more 3-drop wins. Because if my opponent finds Ulamog, blows up my lands, well, I can't petty theft anything at the moment. But maybe I can just race the Ulamog. I'm getting in... they're one land away from just hard casting, what's it called? Ugin. So it looks like they have a really difficult decision, whatever the hell they have. This also frees up my mana for next turn if it's necessary. Come on, play the big Emrakul. That targets me. Siren Stormtamer just deceptively is pretty damn good against Aetherworks Marvel. Unless they find Ugin. Ugin is always, like, the card. Or maybe our opponent found nothing, and they're like deciding to like wait it out and concede. Or they found nothing and they're like, okay, I'm gonna take a pee break or something. Okay, they do find Ulamog, so it might be a race here. Their best shot is to just target my lands. That way, I mean, I'm just not going to have lands. I can't protect my lands with Siren Stormtamer. I can only counter things that target creatures. On the other hand, if they target one of my creatures, it forces me to use up one of my creatures. So this is the awkward thing for them. Okay, so they do decide to target one of my creatures. Because now it slows down my clock. So it's not ridiculous. Oh, they actually could do that. Honestly, I did not know that. I did not know that they could take that line. So what are we going to do now? Attack for 3, maybe play Gadwick, and then I can play Brazen Borrower and slow my opponent down by a turn. Could be the line. So they were just calculating how many turns that they have. So this is my plan. I just hope they don't just play like land slam Ugin. Remember, they still have Marvel in hand, so that's a problem. Yep. To attack or not to attack? Attack! Of course. A lot of islands got exiled. So it's my turn. I have Wizards Retort up. Awesome. It's almost game. That's almost game. So they go to 1. Pass. If they play a spell before they attack, they're in trouble. Do I care about this? Yeah, let's counter this thing. Prevents them from getting energy to Aetherworks Marvel. Also prevents them from drawing a critical card that they might need, like, I don't know, Whirler Virtuoso to block everything. And they concede! They concede. Oh, awesome. That was a great victory! That was a great victory versus the Aetherworks Marvel. So, there are some differences between this deck and the ones I've seen before in the past. This one's playing Golos. Also, I didn't see the past versions playing Whirler Virtuoso. That might be a good piece of tech right now. So anyway, this is a deck super hot in the beginning because everyone just thought it was going to be busted. But you know what? Turns out the format has tons of answers to Aetherworks Marvel. It just didn't happen to have the answers at the time that it was in Standard. But aside from that, it has not been a very big. It has been a very small player, a fringe player overall in Pioneer. But certainly, I don't know if anyone's found the Pioneer build of Aetherworks Marvel. So might not be the end that we see of this card. So anyway, that was round 3. Let's move on to round 4. I won the die roll. Hand looks good. I'll keep it. Turn 1 Storm Tamer. Pending what we see next turn of play, maybe Naban, maybe even Harbinger. Maybe hold up Wizard's Retort, who knows? It's not the greatest hand because we have only 1 island for Tempest Djinn, but you know, honestly, 3 mana for a 2/4 is not that bad either. The Genie's, like, the biggest reason the Genie's in our deck is to hold off attacks from our opponent. And it's not easy to kill. Like, Lightning Strike doesn't kill it, Stomp doesn't kill it, block a lot of things and block profitably. So like, even if I play this so we're up against a red deck. Oh, but not the red deck I thought we were up against. Well, I tell you what, I think we're going to attack for 1, and then we're going to play in the ban. And then, hopefully, we can Harbinger 2 things at once. I'm hoping our opponent's waiting to play like a... Well, if they play Viashino Pyromancer, that won't be great. But anyway, I'm going to play in the ban. We could, in theory, block this thing. So far, when I see this Get to Lava Runner, I'm pretty happy because it looks like it's going to be a low to the ground red deck. Could still have Chain Whirler, which will crush us. But I think in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be okay. Wizards Lightning on our Naban. Okay. Needs 2 or more. We keep ripping islands, which is good. So I'll play the Genie next turn. I think I'm just going to play Harbinger of the Tides. I think we'll bounce Get to Lava Runner. Yeah, that seems reasonable. And if they want to recast the Lava Runner, get it to have haste, they need to have a spell attached to it. Swift Spear. Ugh. Wild Slash on this. I think we're fine with that. I really want to get this Genie in play and start blocking and protecting the Genie. So Get to Lava Runner comes into play, 6 damage, but the Genie is gonna hopefully slow everything down. And the Storm Tamer will protect the Genie. Drawing all these lands, not too bad. We could use it for turning the corner. I can't block with Storm Tamer, so let's just attack. Now, make no mistake. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, this thing costs 3 and tap, so they could do it right now. So, but at least I can still block the Swift Spear. Just 1/0, right? Okay, I can live with that. I think. If we untap and we have this Wizard's Retort, then we can do some serious damage. Storm Tamer protects us against the removal spells as well. It's just Storm Tamer is great in these matchups. It's just that the stupid Goblin Chain Whirler. So here we go. So do they have a second Prowess spell? Or sorry, a second Burn spell. They do. That's going to be a problem. So I still trade with the Swift Spear. But obviously, we have no board. That was a good draw. We're still in really bad shape. I guess I just have to use this as a tempo move. We have to tap this and then block here. Because no matter what, they can activate the Castle Embrich if they have nothing else to do. So if our top decks are better than theirs, we get a turn because we have this Castle Vantress. All right, I'm just gonna play this. Pass. I don't want to miss out on land drops. Or maybe it wasn't important. So they'll attack for 2. Okay. That could have been a lot worse. Alright, Castle Vantress. Show us your stuff. Okay. And I don't think I can afford to, I have to top deck something. Excellent! Excellent top deck. Alright, let's just go for the full 3. This is an excellent follow-up, too. We are absolutely trump blocking this. Because we're going to lose it anyway. Ugh! In the main deck! That's dirty! Oh, you're dirty, Rojanosa. That is dirty. How dare you? Well, now we're in really terrible shape. Oh man, what's even the best thing to do? I guess draw 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I draw 4 cards, hope to draw an island. Maybe I just draw 3 cards. I could draw... No, I have to make a land drop. I'll just draw 3 cards. That was a terrible... This is just terrible. I need threats. Anyway, I'm gonna hold up the Wizard's Retort because anything kills us. Land, play land. Do nothing. Just do nothing. Oh, they could find nothing or they could find everything. Nothing. I think we're gonna start upkeep playing Castle Vantress on our turn. Because I really need to find, like, good stuff. And I have, like, a lot of mana anyway. Well, that's pretty good. I think we're going to put that on top. Put this on the bottom. Because I think we can just win the game. Can we win the game next turn? How much power is this? 10. Oh, it's close. I need to find, what, another... So, well, anyway, if they find a creature, it's sort of turned off. So if they find, like, Swift Spear, that's not good anymore. They need burn spells. See, that's garbage. That's trash. Oh, that was a great... That's great. Okay, does that win now? That might win. Well, it has to win. Yeah, it definitely wins. Oh, I don't even need this thing. You know, I sometimes forget about Gadwick's ability. Not sometimes, very often. Like, all I had to do is play Master of Waves, pump up everything. So, I have 13 power on the battlefield. I needed the 14th power, and Master of Waves helped get there. Castle Vantress actually comes through against the dirty burn deck, playing with main deck Searing Blood. That's dirty. So that was a big win. That's big. They have that main deck hate for us. Not that it's a bad choice. Not that it's a bad choice. Hey, there's like those mono black decks. Not a bad choice. I can definitely respect what they're trying to do. So anyway, this matchup, not so scared. We'll bring in the Cerulean Drake. We'll take out Thassa. Thassa's going to be terrible. I'm not thrilled with Wizard's Retort, but I guess we'll keep that on the draw. Also not thrilled with Harbinger. Maybe we'll take out some Nabans. Naban is like okay, but it's a turn 4 play. It dies to a lot of things. It dies to Goblin Chain Whirler. So I do want to reduce the number of like Chain Whirler problems I have. This will not die to Chain Whirler. And we'll submit this. Like, if Chain Whirler didn't exist in this format, Master of Waves would just completely take over this matchup. I wouldn't have to worry about that, but Chain Whirler is real. Chain Whirlers are a thing. I'll keep this. It's okay. Swift Spear, attack. Good starts. Good starts. I don't need to stop anymore. I guess we're just going to curve out. Force our opponent to kill everything, play Master of Waves, and hopefully it sticks. Yeah. So, like, this sort of sucks, but the plus side is that they're not adding any more creatures to the battlefield, and that's fine. It's like an okay trade-off. I mean, ideally, Searing Blood doesn't exist at all, but it's easier to deal with, like, one creature than to deal with multiple creatures on the battlefield. So, I'm not getting a lot of value out of this Merfolk Trickster, but trying to get something. Light up the stage. Sure. No spectacle. Found a Bomat Courier and a Soulscar Mage. Not the most impressive. I'm not liking my prospects of blocking with this, so I guess I'll just attack. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should block it for the Bomat Courier. My opponent could easily go Soulscar Mage, Bomat Courier, Lightning Strike this, and then I have nothing to block the Bomat Courier. Now they can go like Bomat Courier, Soulscar Mage, Lightning Strike. Sorry, not, Oh, I was talking about Wizard's Lightning at 3 mana. So I'm going to get hit for 2 more damage than I think I'm comfortable with. Plus the go Bomat Courier gets a card. So maybe that's a mistake. Like in these matchups, you know, racing them is not that important. That is pretty good because we're going to put ourselves in a situation... Like, let's say they have Goblin Chain Whirler. It won't even be the end of the world. So I'm just going to pass because the next Master of Waves is really going to stick. Oh, do they not have Goblin Chain Whirler finally? What is this? Okay, so we'll snap block this thing. I guess block with an elemental just in case they decide to just kill this first. They would now need 2 removal spells. Okay, so they decide their hand was garbage. They had 2 mountains, not worth anything. Alright, so we're gonna have a nice, probably easy victory. Because after the second Master of Waves comes out, I mean, that's basically over. They have no removal in hand. And that's the manabase.com. Get dunked on! Instant replay! Oh god, do they have Kozilek's Return? Oh, they could have Kozilek's Return. They'll smoke me. Well, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Okay, lightning strike. That's not a big deal. To my face. So, noble strategy. Interesting. They trade one of their creatures here. So, well, I feel good. I mean, I just have lethal on the way back. Do they have any chance of winning? I guess not. So anyway, yeah, the mono red, the low mono red burn decks, I'm like okay with this matchup. I'm fine. I'm happy. I think we have a lot of game. There's a lot of situations where they just run out of resources and we just, you know, play the Master of Waves or Tempest in and just come back. Or even the Gadwick, as you saw. Even that 3/3 Gadwick is good enough. But it's the bigger red decks that I'm much more scared of. I'm much more concerned with. But anyway, we won this round. And let's get into round 5. We won the die roll. The hand's whatever. It's a hand. Some decks I won't give a crap about this. Some decks there will. We're going for the 5-0, by the way. We're going for the 5-0. Going for the 5-0 and my brother's not here to distract me. Coincidence? I think not. Of course, there's value in my brother's entertainment. I can have all the 5-0s off camera. Ooh, Drowned Catacombs. I don't think this is gonna... I mean, this hand could be okay. So, there's nothing to tap down, so I'm just gonna play a Grizzly Bear. But I think this is gonna be this, like, blue-black Scarab God control deck. And it has a lot of counter spells in it, if I remember correctly. Okay, goodbye this thing. Oh, we got a bunch of Gadwicks. But the problem is getting underneath the counter magic. That's the problem. Because if I remember correctly, it's just a lot of counter spells. Unless this is like a mid-range deck that I don't know about. Okay. So, I gotta choke my opponent on their mana, so I'm gonna play this Harbinger at end of turn, and then hopefully we can untap and play a Dijin or a Gadwick or something. Hieroglyphic Illumination, that's fine. I mean, maybe right now is a good time to play Harbinger. Yeah, I think right now is a good time. Because I'm tapping out. Apparently they have Censor in their deck, so... Oh, that Field of Ruin is not going to do very much. Liliana, the Last Hope. So that's a disgusting card, but you know, it's not too bad. So it can't kill any of the creatures on the battlefield. Come on, land. Okay, land is good, so we can like slam Gadwick, draw a bunch of cards. And it's a decent body on the battlefield too. Okay, let's just start by attacking Liliana. So Liliana is going to eat up a few of our turns. That's okay. And also, if they... Well, I mean, they can't play the Scarab God next turn, but if they do, like, we can start tapping it down. This is very, very powerful. This is a very good... those were very good draws with the mana that we have. Vraska's Contempt. That's fine. So what do we really want? I guess we really want to draw a land so I can play Siren Storm Tamer and Tempest Djinn on the same turn. It's not a deal breaker. I can just play the Djinn anyway. Kill Liliana. We have 2 wizards, or I don't kill Liliana, but we're getting close. Liliana ain't gonna get much value here. And of course, Tempest Djinn is just ginormous. So we have 2 wizards on the battlefield to trigger our Wizard's Retorts. Now I feel very confident here. I don't think there's anything our opponent can really do. If they ticked up Liliana and, I don't know, played another one, I wouldn't care. Oh, now you're going for the Tidebinder Mage. Is that what you're doing? So let's play Siren Storm Tamer. I have mana for everything. Mana for Siren Storm Tamer. If they counter this, I can just attack this Liliana. Counter target spell. Convert mana cost less than or equal to the number of cards in the graveyard. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to attack. I'll attack Liliana for 2, and then our opponent for... Oops, hold on. If I attack for 8... forget it. Attack Liliana. Attack our opponent. And of course we got Wizard's Retort for everything. If they kill the Harbinger, I'll probably let that resolve. If they ever try to kill the Genie, that's where I'm drawing the line. So... yeah, I'm just too far ahead on board that I don't really care about this. In fact, I might even play Gadwick here. Just as another body. Like, 2 Wizards Retort. Like, what the hell can you do to this board? I think I'm just going to play this Gadwick. So it strongly represents that I have action here, but it doesn't matter. I just need another body on the battlefield to close the game out in a few turns. Our opponent might just go like Liliana minus, looking for like Swift Warden. That's fine. These things don't matter. That's fine. That's fine. None of these things matter. Attack for 6, then threaten to win. Yeah, I guess that's fine. So we'll get rid of Liliana. I mean, the other option is just attack my opponent for 9, put him to 5. Then they have to do something about the Genie or they die. Because Liliana by itself isn't doing anything at all. I guess that's fine too. Just like nothing uncounterable. I have 2 counter spells in my hand. How is this going to go wrong? I mean, maybe it will. So search for his Cantic and flip. It's not a big deal. They get a little bit more mana for the turn. Sure. Land is good, so now they have to deal with everything. Genie wins by itself. The other creatures win by itself. There's nothing uncounterable in these decks. And they conceded. All right, so that was good. So they're like in these control-ish matchups, mana is a big deal. Mana won us this game. Our 4 lands in our starting hand ended up being like the reason that we won. They stumbled on lands after 2 turns, and that's definitely why they lost. If they could curve into their 3rd land, into that Liliana Last Hope, game could be completely different, but they stumbled. So what do we want? Counter spells. We want flash speed stuff. That's it. What do we not want? Tidebinder Mage sort of sucks, but it's a Grizzly Bear. Maybe not Naban, because it dies to Liliana the Last Hope just too easily. I sort of like Siren Stormtamer because they have a lot of spot removal. At the same time, this is another like Master of Waves in these matchups, not that bad. When you're in like a top deck war and all I have is a Tidebinder Mage on the battlefield, if you find Master of Waves, it just like wins instant. It forces the opponent to find an answer immediately or they're dead. So the question is, do I take out Master of Waves or do I take out... So Siren Stormtamer could be a cut, Master of Waves could be a cut, or Tidebinder Mage could be a cut. I bet there's some play draw dependency on these 2 cards that I'm not thinking about right now. I definitely want to keep I want to keep Harbinger because Tidebinder Mage doesn't tap any red or green creatures. But at the same time, I do want some stuff early on, just a body on the battlefield to make our opponent, use up resources, use up spells on. Guess that's it. Alright, playing for the 5-0 again with Naban. Did I get a 5-0 on camera? No, I didn't. I got it off camera. Overall, my confidence level is very high in this matchup. We'll keep this. That's not really what I wanted to see. Or whatever, I guess. Ooh, that sucks. They're gonna take our Wizard's Retort. That card also might suck. Pending situation. So I'm gonna play a Siren Stormtamer, and I'm like just gonna hope that they don't have Liliana the Last Hope here. It sounds like they do, because they're just playing it so fast. They're not even thinking about it. Oh yeah, and that's another reason to take out Master of Waves in this matchup, Liliana the Last Hope. Well, we are in a lot of trouble. I mean, this thing's gonna just win by itself. The hand is... Well, if we could just play Tempest in here, it wouldn't be too bad. But we can't. This deck plays quite a bit of counter magic, so I will just play my Merfolk Trickster right now. The value, people. Look at the value. Although my opponent's not really prepared with counter magic at the moment. Okay. I just hope you can't really deal with this. But that's sort of what this deck does. Duress was really good on the play. Oh no, my genie is nothing. So weak. Well, I wasn't expecting this. What the hell is this? Gaunty. Death Touch. Enters the battlefield. Look at the top 4 cards of your target opponent's library. Exile one of them face down. Then put the rest on the bottom of that library in random order. You can look and cast the card as long as it remains exiled. And you may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast the spell. Well, that thing is going to... Hopefully they don't find anything good. There's only spells or lands. You may You may cast that card. Well, you can't cast lands. Not sure if I'm thrilled to see these islands or not. They did nothing. Alright, I'll scry with Castle Ventress. Wasn't sure if I would play Trickster or not, but they probably have a lot of interaction or counter spells, so. Not thrilled with either of these cards. I honestly don't know what I'm looking for. Okay, I'll put the island on top. Put this thing on the bottom. I'll continue to draw the islands. Well, that's bad, because I put the island on top. Okay, let's try to get through this game relatively quickly. I think post-board I'm going to hedge my risk. I mean, I guess I'm just going to keep more Tidebinder Mages in. Tidebinder Mage, hey, don't underestimate it. 2/2 Grizzly Bear. Not bad. I like the Siren Stormtamers. They're so good against, like, Thoughtseize, Duress, all the Drown and Lock crap like that. We still don't know what my opponent had underneath. These are great cards, usually, but can't counter anything at the moment. Close to that Liliana Ultimate. Okay, pass. Now that we have 7 lands in play, we can pretty credibly, like, Castle Ventress at our upkeep now if necessary, if we keep finding garbage. I don't know what I want to find right now. Because Liliana can ultimate next turn. We can go over the top, it's possible. But our opponent's missing land drops, so I can only assume my opponent has, like, something. A handful of stuff. I mean, we can overwhelm the zombie army with, say, Naban into Master of Waves. That's definitely possible. These are all garbage. I mean, that's good, but it needs to stick. My opponent has perfect information. Okay, I'm gonna draw 2 cards. Alright, well, I don't have to worry about that Liliana of the Last Hope anymore. I assume I have to worry about a second one. I don't forget about it. I don't have to worry about anything. So I have nothing in play. Okay, I think I'm done here. Now, my confidence level is, like, really high, though. Like, that was an absolute nightmare way that this hand rolled out with us drawing all our one toughness creatures. So how can we hedge against this? We can definitely bring in some Tidebinder Mages. I still want this Storm Tamer. Like, it's a good card. It's a good card. If we're holding off the Liliana of the Last Hope with, like, Wizard's Retorts and Mystical Disputes. This thing counters like Vraska's Contempt, which they might have sided out. Yeah, I'll dump the Master of Waves. It's too much of a liability. And submit. But like I'm very confident. I'm very confident in this matchup. I think I mean Liliana the Last Hope is a brutal card to play against always. Even if we have a Grizzly Bear out, it's going to make it smaller, and then I have to just commit more cards to the battlefield to get underneath my opponent's removal spells and counter spells in order to attack the Liliana the Last Hope. But if we just counter that damn Planeswalker, then I don't think there's really a whole lot to worry about. There's a lot more scarier matchups that we've been up against in this league. But we definitely always still need Gadwick. You can't get rid of this Gadwick. So I can't tell for sure, but like Naban has been pretty good at just being like a lightning rod early on in the game. Whereas like these other creatures, like our opponent can sometimes ignore them. People are always afraid of Naban, so it like sucks up their mana, sucks up their removal spell for our stronger creatures. Maybe that's just why my Naban lists are doing better than my like Cloudfin Raptor or Leyline of Anticipation lists. Certainly this, I mean, I don't know, maybe we didn't play against the best players today, but still the deck ran a lot smoother than what I've play tested in the past. The Leyline version was just awful. In my 75. There could be another 75 that it works, but not in this 75. That's terrible. That's okay. I think we're going to keep this. I think we're done. Do we dump the Storm Tamer? It's not that important to get something out on turn 2 like this. And I'm going to be tapping out for a little while, so sure. It's the weakest devotion of all the cards. So I think we can comfortably run out of Thassa. I do want to keep all the lands. Again, mana advantage for Gadwick, but also I definitely want when I get there on turn 3, I definitely want to be playing this Thassa. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have a Mystical Dispute. Go Tidbinder Mage. And Thassa is definitely going to be one of the better cards to have in this matchup, to just constantly scry for what I want, and it's virtually, I think it's impossible for them to kill. Oh no! Oh no! Please don't Mystical Dispute me. Yeah! Alright, so is it going to be... I mean, if they play Liliana Last Hope, I can kill it, for sure. How to do this? I mean, yes. Yes, I want that card on my deck. I'm not, like, sure what I should be doing here. I could play Siren Stormtamer, pass. Or I could play Tempest Gen, or, like, the idea of playing Siren Stormtamer is that, so that when I untap, I can play Tempest Gen and it has protection. And they don't have Liliana the Last Hope, because they would just slammed it. They would have slammed it. So they don't have that card right now. Because they got a lot of mana open, so it has to be like a counter spell or something. So you know what, I'm going to play the Siren Stormtamer. And either of these things can activate Thassa next turn anyway. I'm just going to pass. If they kill Stormtamer, okay, that's fine. Okay, they did nothing. Some good news. Our opponent keeps hitting their land drops. Good for them. I'm going to continue. I'm going to put some stuff on the bottom. That's okay. That's an okay card. I think I'll play the Merfolk Trickster at end of turn, though. Actually, do you know what? I probably should try to get at least one island so I can start using Castle Vantress. Or maybe it's not that important. I have a scrying machine right now. The only problem is I don't know if I should be playing for the long game or not. I probably should have played a Merfolk Trickster there. Underneath all those other cards. Yes, you may know what's in my hand. No counter spells here. I wish I had counter spells, but there aren't any right now. Okay. This is not the end of the world, because we can definitely kill Liliana on our next turn. Did I screw up? Okay. Because there's a possibility in response to this I should play Merfolk Trickster, because they could have a land drop, and then, again, they'll have, what's it called up? Something. What's it called? Mystical Dispute. Castle Vantress. Let's draw and play this. Doesn't help Genie later, but helps everything else. Let's draw 2 cards. Kill Liliana, attack our opponent for 2. And then we can still attack with our Thassa next turn if they wipe the board with, what's it called? Something of Fate. I don't know if this deck actually runs it, but I just assume black decks run it. I love how they're playing these Duresses and they're just bricking hard. That's huge card advantage for us. Oh no! Exile target creature or planeswalker, you gain 2 life. Well, that sucks. Well, we still have the Castle Vantress. Do they have a sweeper? I don't know. Like, probably. Alright. Is this even lethal? 4, 7, 9? It's not even lethal. Alright, we're in trouble. I totally forgot that Vraska's Contempt exiles. Not that I can do anything about it. Not that I can do anything about it, but I did forget. All their cards are in their hand, all our cards are on the board. Scarab God. Alright, we can deal with this. There's a Tidebinder Mage and the Siren Stormtamer in the graveyard. That's not the greatest of things. And we can cast things to tap down the Scarab God. Go Gadwick. Still giving value. Okay, so remember, Siren Stormtamer is something that they could block with, but we have just so many creatures on the battlefield. Oh, we have so many creatures. They have to find a sweeper here. It's like Cry of the Canarium or nothing. Okay, sweet. They're going to tap out for this. Yeah. Could scry twice. So man, I feel pretty good about our chances right now. Because even if they kill something, 2 things get through, like Siren Stormtamer, Merfolk Trickster for 3 damage. That's got to be good. Good question. Do I Castle Vantress at end of turn? They could kill this. But, like, who cares? I kill you. Is it worth it? What if you have 2 removal spells? 2 fatal pushes. If you have 2 fatal pushes, push, push, block, block, then it's actually the best thing is for me to find. No, no, you can't. Okay, so you can't fatal push this right now. I'm trying to think, what's the best thing to do? Like, if I scry for a blue card, then I can just tap one of these things down and easily win. You know what? I think if they use a removal spell on anything, I don't think it matters. Unless it gains them life, but I don't think there's any life gain spell here. So scrying 2 is better than holding up Siren Stormtamer. And, like, if I had one more land, I would scry at my upkeep, but I don't. So if I spend 5 mana, I only have 2 mana left, so then I'm tapped out from Stormtamer anyway. We'll put the Wizard's Retort on the bottom. We'll put the Trickster on top. Hopefully that's good no matter what our opponent does. Alright, so tap 2 things. Win. Alright, the game has ended. Our opponent could not fool around anymore. We get the 5-0 with Naban Merfolk. Or sorry, Naban Wizards. Sorry. Forza Habit. Merfolk Master. I'm a Merfolk Master. But it plays a lot like Merfolk. It plays a lot like Merfolk. Well, that was a sweet 5-0. So I guess this is just what I'm going to play this weekend at my local game store. This is going to be the list. Card for card. Assuming I can get the Damping Spheres. I do not think I own that card. No, I mean, it's not. I mean, it's strictly in here for one deck. So, it's not the worst thing to not have. I have everything else. But, did we see Naban? Naban did work. We saw Naban do work in the mono black deck. And I do believe that this is one of the better. This is, like, the mono black deck is where you want to have Naban. Because Naban is good at, you know, bouncing 2 things with Harbinger, tapping 2 things with Merfolk Trickster, getting way back in the game with Master of Waves. So the mono black deck, that's where you want to have Naban. We were getting... What matchups? Like, yeah, those Liliana, the Last Hope matchups are not good. I actually liked Naban against Blue-White Control. Because for 2 mana, you still have 2 power on the battlefield. Not bad. Not bad. And there's against Blue-White Control, there's, like, nothing to... Or not enough things to punish the 1 toughness. I know there's a land that creates a 1/1 human. Not a big deal. What is a big deal is like drawing double the cards with Gadwick, or later in the game we just play Naban into Master of Waves and then ask our opponent, can you beat this? No? Alright, then you lose. So I don't mind Naban in that matchup. Yeah, this is the deck. Either now or later there'll be an updated sideboard guide in the description below. But yeah, this Naban Wizards, I have my faith in Naban. And I think the difference between Naban and something like Cloudfin Raptor is people might ignore... If Cloudfin Raptor doesn't get bigger on like the first 2 turns, I had many games where I go like turn 1 Cloudfin Raptor, turn 2 do nothing, turn 3 start playing things. They just ignore it and they save their removal spells and their resources for later. Naban, you play it on turn 2, they're forced to use up some resources on this thing, because if they don't, bad things happen, and maybe that's the difference between this and Cloudfin Raptor, because certainly I was very unimpressed with Leyline of Anticipation. I know a lot of people are very excited for it, but I could not make that card work. It was just a bunch. It's 2/3 city. 2/3 city. And I'm not in the business of going 2/3 all the time. So hopefully this list gets published. You know, people need to see the Naban. The other one didn't. But anyway, hopefully this one does, and hopefully it will do great for you in your next Pioneer event. So anyway, we're gonna thank all my patrons supporting me on Patreon. We're also gonna thank themanabase.com and the MTG Mastermind for being our sponsors. This has been Nikachu playing with Naban Wizards in Pioneer.